I think the crisis is of the paradigm, the manner in which the paradigm has been operated, with a complete breakdown of the ethical and the moral order.
But the question is, why are we failing? We are failing because the solution which we are finding to every problem over a period of time becomes a problem itself. Unless we raise our consciousness level, we cannot approach problems.
I must say very, very wonderful of them, the way they are remembering him in this first meeting without him. But I'm sure in spirit he's there, and you'll be very happy to see that it's going well. People here appreciated his views a lot, and I gave him a lot of happiness, and if there's somebody who's with him, I think they'll miss him for some time, at least, I think. But I think they'll do well. Mr. Yakunin has a great mind. I think I have a great respect for him.
This is the 9th forum, and today is approximately 10 years after the proclamation of idea of Dialogue of Civilizations. Next year we will celebrate the 10th anniversary of the forum itself.
They came to contact in Delhi and they decided to set up this forum.
We decided that we should arrange some activity to challenge the statement of the book of Professor Huntington, Clash of Civilizations.
And we had first, it wasn't a meeting like this, but just a get-together there at our farm, just at the outskirts of Delhi.
Seven years ago, in one of the declarations, the Rhodes Forum declared inevitability of the major economical financial crisis. We were the only who declared that. It is obvious that the unstrained neoliberal economy resulted in a casino capitalism totally detached from the real economy.
We have tensions in the political systems independent of their shape, be they authoritarian, semi-authoritarian, or democratic, which means that we are in an era of projects, of discussion, of experiments. I think the basic understanding has to be not everybody has to do the same to get out of the crisis.
Remember Mr. Kapoor's words, a state or a group of states, in the name of freedom, democracy, human rights, or any other contrived or media projections, have no right to impose their neo-imperial designs over others. They have already done enough damage to the human system. It is time to stop. Actually, these words define the main issue of inter-civilization relations.
There's always this suggestion of uniformity, and I think the forum is the alternative to that.
Giving an image of the richness and the diversity of civilizations. Exactly the way it is organized, with no civilization having the upper hand. They all have their voices and their articulations. That in itself is a message. In other words, the conference is the message, not any printed document. Such documents tend to be boring.
Well, I'm a conflict mediator. I've been mediating and talking with Taliban, with Hamas, with Hezbollah, Al-Qaeda people. I've even been talking with people in State Department and Pentagon. 2-star general. I find all of them having valid points.
The certainty of respect is fundamental. If we do not have respect, we cannot navigate the world, we cannot move forward.
Yeah, but Professor Galtung, are they telling the truth? Are they willing to talk? The problem is to make them stop. They just love it. Have their statements put on the table and have somebody react to it. I react. I ask them questions. And I emerge with respect for humanity. There is a kind of sense of something positive everywhere.
We have seen at UNESCO that in this new turbulent international landscape, greater account must be taken of the close links which are not well explored between diversity, dialogue, development, security, and peace. Diversity forgets that it is a product of a permanent dialogue which allows it to regenerate, and by doing so, to regenerate humanity.
وهذا المدخل الذي يستطيع القول منه بكل ثقة إن علاجه هو الحوار الديني والثقافي والاجتماعي.
Humankind can only develop based on a dialogue between various religions and nationalities.
This is an excellent forum. Really, I congratulate the organizer. We need a lot of round tables. We need wisdom. The world will be much safer and much better if we really understand each culture and respect each religion.
The highest form of intelligence is wisdom. It is represented by the feminine in all traditions. In the West, she is known as Sophia or Sophia, but also as sapientia, giving the word Homo sapiens, man of wisdom. The mental crisis of modernity is about meaning. Whether we can live up to the meaning of our species' name, that is the challenge. Thank you.
We need the change of the paradigm of the global development, both socially and economically.
In certain respects, it's an odd mixture of people.
Different culture, different religion, different area of work.
Different currents of thought from different countries.
A very good experience to know so many people coming together in one place.
And they're sharing their faith, they're sharing their feeling, and they're sharing their love for humanity in their own understanding and in their own way. And I think it's a very important thing at this point of time in the world when humanity is facing very drastic changes. So a forum like this actually really open people's heart, and they can start really understanding that, look, there are so many beautiful people around the world.
.600 people gathered here from 71 countries. No representatives of no countries, official representatives coming here. Though we can see some politicians, some ambassadors, former politicians, they are coming here like individuals, to talk to individuals.
The currents and their colors, the way the wind blows, the storms, flocks of birds, vegetation floating on the water, the color of the water, how it changed, everything was taken into account. To negotiate the ocean with this kind of an enormous set of variables, by reading them, analyzing them, and making sense of them, have something to teach us. Have they say something about human potentialities and our capacity to understand the unknown? I leave the question with you. Thank you very much. I have come to listen, not to speak.
How does one start? And one has to start by taking, the Chinese proverb says, one step, the first step in a journey of 1,000 miles.
in the case of Poland was a kind of a reconsideration of relations with Russia. Smolensk, some of the craziest myths, Russophobic myths, included not that the airplane carrying the Polish political and military elite was shot down, but it was Russia that manufactured the fog. Eliminating fear is the basis for creating further cooperation between the West, between Europe, between Poland, between the United States and Russia. Thank you.
Procedural law of the UN, the most significant element in the decision-making is the veto power of the permanent members of the Security Council. Procedural questions can be separated from substance.
So with post-secularity we have the revenge of God. Finally God comes back and eliminates all these modern things, you know, like secularism and enlightenment and freedom and all these things. Now, in my view, this is a very dubious or actually dangerous interpretation of post-secularity.
Secular approach doesn't mean that religious institutions or religious values should be separated from the civil society.
Post-secularity might mean doing away with Vatican II, for instance.
I came to the forum through Mr. Brunson McKinley. He's sitting there. There is a panel on the Arab region.
It's an exciting and challenging debate we're going to have this afternoon. And we're one of the first to try to put it all together.
I'd like strong messages to come out.
We're certainly going to bring some recommendations. Let's see what comes out.
The greatest challenge is to move to a democratic system in the Arab world, transparent democratic system.
It's not just the Arab world. It's the whole world, because the Arab world is at the crossroads of civilizations and cultures and economic factors of major importance.
I mean, just now we are confronted with the Greek crisis. And if one looks into newspapers or statements of politicians, they're always talking about our wonderful money system and the euro and the economical mechanisms. That's all very nice, but they do not talk about the fate of the population, what it means for the men in the street to get less money and to be confronted with the budget cut.
I was in Athens on the 5th when there was a big protest, and there was so much of rage within the people of this country who actually had elected the government of this country.
You can now see what's happening in America also, started in America also.
The leaders of today, they're backtracking on their promises.
They have changed policies because I think their policies have been working for a few.
That they promised the people of their country that they will work for their prosperity. Not they're going to just rule on their expenses.
Something has to be done about it. So it's a movement. It started. Let's see where it ends up.
I attended the economic section, which showed that the majority of speakers were very skeptical in terms of the approaching second phase of the economic and global financial crisis. You know, generally speaking, Mr. Yakunin actually touched upon the nail of the problem, saying that we have to find not, the symptoms of the illness, but the real gist of it.
The economic crisis should be considered as the civilizational crisis.
Well, there are lots of challenges. Of course, we all realize how deep the crisis is. But I think more fundamentally, we need to change our way of thinking.
The challenge is just to free the world from the simple economic thinking. The economics is just a reflection of underground process culturally.
We need to realize our mutual dependence That dependence is not merely that my better off depend on your worse off, but rather my better off is dependent upon your better off.
The conception of the man was transformed in just a consumer subject. So just to be a consumer is his identity.
While there are 3 billion people starving, states are withering away under the power of money.
States have abdicated the responsibility in a series of deregulation and privatization since the 1980s to the financial markets.
Consumerism beyond boundaries, where we destroy the environment and the economic systems, where you have a few people controlling the world and the rest of the world just guessing where they'll get the next food.
Culture is the software, yes, on which civilizations are built.
We need to draw deep into the cultural resources that we have. Lots of these ancient wisdom are forgotten, rejected as outdated, but actually they are very, very precious.
Kindness, honesty, integrity, truthfulness, beauty, love. These are the things we live for. Whether we engage in discussions on politics, economics, art, beauty, music, all the things that make culture, the family provides the human capital, if you will, to create the next beautiful artist or next world leader in politics. Let me give you a statistic, and this is actually a global survey. When mom and dad both work outside the household, they spend an average of 19 minutes a day, only 19 minutes a day, engaged in conversation or interaction with their children.
The crisis in the world cannot be summed up in only one sentence or due to one reason, but to suggest a headline, I would say it's a spiritual crisis. Now, not spiritual in the sense that it's a religious crisis.
Not the spiritualism that you had become religious or something, but it's of the mind, our own philosophy, Hindu philosophy. Now we don't practice religion all the time, but it's a part of you, and you are a better human being. You think of doing good to the others.
And we don't really have to fight for what we believe. We just have to share what we believe.
If we accept the other and ask him to accept me, and value in him that which meets with what I have, or be enriched by what he has that I don't have, and I can try to do the same without judgment, without feeling inferior towards him or superior towards him, I think a lot can be done. How do you say that in Greek? The world is in crisis because we have lost our humanness. The ability of people to work together, to hold on together, and if you go into Africa, it reminds you of that. And it's very much the whole concept of Ubuntu, which means you are a person in relation to another person. You're not a person in relation to another animal.
We need the earth and other species to be fully human. It's our connection to nature that taps the well of spiritual essence that we truly need. Indigenous peoples, such as American Indians of the Southwest, have a lot to teach us today in terms of the values of equality and the environment. The whole sense of balance with the earth and with other species. Each element of nature is a living, breathing spirit that deserves respect and reciprocity. And that's a good foundation upon which to create an environmental ethic.
The destruction of nature and the steady extinction of environmental diversity symbolically mirrors the ravaged human psyche and the pathologizing and erasing of its psycho-spiritual diversity.
Wisdom would be to be realistic about who we are as human beings, take into account human nature as it really is, not as we wish it to be.
Keep on being human, first and foremost. Move away from economics that has no human face.
The levels of inequality that exist in the modern global economy, they would be unacceptable to like indigenous people, and they really should be unacceptable to all of us.
Let us get back to our basics. Let us put people first.
We need to remember, we don't know where we came from. Either it was Darwin theory, either we are the creatures of the Lord for believers. But the fact is that we are living in the mutual house, the home, and the name is Earth. So it is not possible that one part of this house was happy and the other was in dreadful situation. We need to remember our responsibility for the future generations.
We should be proactive and responsible livers on this planet.
Уже просто навеки долгие годы, на долгие годы. Ура! Ура!
Yesterday we opened a second youth forum in Rhodes. The main issue in this year is our future. What opportunities we have.
There is a hope for people to return to their values, different values, but around common axis.
I would like to see more honest and responsible young people who actually, spend time, reading and talking about things happening.
For me, peace, innovation, and to have innovation, you need to have a free mind.
It would be great if we could actually implement these things and bring the discussion out of the conference room into real life.
The product of this forum is the idea, books about the ideas and the results of these forums. And the idea can change the world. Remember the history, the idea. And the strong feature of this forum, there are a lot of ideas.
Without multipolarity and diversity of religions, development techniques and cultures, there will never be peace.
Without any prejudice to religions, to cultures, to nations, we are considering the most essential questions of contemporary world.